Come back. Why are you driving away? Stop. Nope. Stop. Car, come back. We have, we've lost our car. Nope, now it's coming back. Okay. Nope, no, okay, our car is gone. What the fuck? Car, come back. Cyberpunk 2077 is confusing. It is an experience that wildly fluctuates, at times being utterly amazing and at others a complete wreck. It perhaps isn't an understatement to call it early access because it doesn't feel finished. Heading into release, developer CD Projekt Red had the insurmountable task of matching or even topping The Witcher 3. Judged by many as one of the best games of the entire decade, it brought with it high expectations for whatever came next. Mix in a well-crafted marketing campaign that built up an incredible amount of hype, and Cyberpunk 2077 had a lot to live up to. Hype, however, is never a reliable source, and as anyone who has been around the block is aware, it's not too good to get swept up in it. As far as I'm concerned, I didn't jump into CP 2077 expecting a life-changing experience. Given the studio involved, I certainly expected something good, and I was anticipating it, but when it comes to gameplay, I just wanted a well-polished experience I could easily get immersed within. Sadly, it doesn't quite achieve that. By now, most people have probably seen or heard about the game's many bugs. Articles and videos have been discussing it in abundance, and as I sit here writing the script, Sony just pulled the game from its digital storefront and offered full refunds to anyone who purchased it on its platform. It clearly wasn't ready for release, and during my time with it, I witnessed a little bit of everything. For the sake of brevity, I won't highlight most of it here, but I had broken side quests, broken textures, random deaths caused by my character glitching into the geometry. The menu stopped working, enemies fell through the map, I fell through the map, my car fell through the map. At times I couldn't shoot, there were moments I couldn't move, multiple times I couldn't jump, my character's hair and clothes failed to load, I've been launched out of the map, I've been launched backwards through the map, the game's physics broke, dead bodies failed to properly load in, objects constantly clipped into one another, and the list goes on and on. Just documenting the many major and minor bugs could be an article in and of itself, although I may have been one of the lucky ones as nothing was particularly game-breaking. Annoying, sure, but my progression was never hampered for too long. That is, if we're not counting the crashes, of which I had 44. I streamed the majority of my review playthrough on Twitch, and I literally had a crash counter going for it, so this is publicly documented. There were 44 crashes on my PS5. Let that sink in. It's actually even higher now, as after I got the platinum in the game, I did one more stream to discuss my experience with someone else live on air, and it crashed during the show. Because of course it did. My total playtime was just under 70 hours, so it was roughly one crash every 90 minutes. However, it doesn't break down quite so nicely, as there were instances where it occurred 4 times within a 60-minute span, and every now and then I could hit almost maybe 2 or 3 hours without a single one. It was sporadic and unpredictable. This is fine. This is fine. This is fine. This is totally fine. Oh, fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Ah. Considering the bugs and crashes, it would be one thing if at its core the title was worthless. I could give it a bad review and be done, but what makes the glitches most painful is that there's a really good game lurking within the mess. Just the story and its accompanying music is almost worth the cost of admission. CP 2077 begins with the player creating their character, in this game named V. The design suite is a bit lacking and the toolset is slightly dated as you choose options from a list of numbers instead of being able to see all the choices at once, but even with its limitations, I was able to create a protagonist that was sexy and cool. It's during this phase you also choose the life path of your protagonist. There's 3 total, and these completely alter the first chapter of the first arc, and there's new dialogue options throughout the game to reflect your background. But outside of that, the influence on the story is fairly minimal. Of the 4 established endings possible, they have almost no bearing, if any. That I found disappointing. I won't dwell on the plot, as the less you know the better, but for reasons best left discovered by the player, V is facing an expiration date, and what follows is a tale of existential dread. This fear of death is, ironically, wonderfully brought to life due to strong voice acting and great writing. V is portrayed exceptionally well. I believed her when she broke down crying, hoping to get through just one more day. It's not only V who carries the show, as throughout my time in Night City, I grew to adore most of the side cast. When someone died, I mourned. When one turned down my flirtatious advances, I felt rejected. And when others opened up about their history, I got the sense I was actually being trusted. Nearly every major quest and side quest is rife with little character moments, and it is supremely well done. These characters don't just come across as entities within a game, they present themselves as real. It's the most absorbed I've been within a game's fiction in a while. These are people I grew to love, and that a game could pull it off is all the more memorable. Even Keanu Reeves' character is full of depth and development. Initially, I was put off by his voice acting as it comes across as phoned in and monotone, but by the end I actually appreciated how he was handled. It suited his character. It's just a complete shame that for all the immersion the story presented me with, the moment I ventured into the city, it was ripped all away. It tries to appear as full of life, but it's actually very lifeless and robotic. Drivers lack any AI whatsoever, and if you block traffic, instead of attempting to go around you, cars will back up for a block or more. Pedestrians walk around, but mysteriously vanish at a moment's notice. The police, too, have this teleportation ability, albeit used in a different way. Hurt someone, and even with no witnesses around, they immediately know you broke the law, and instead of arriving from a random location, materialize out of thin air, literally in front of you, usually just 5 feet away. There's a dated feel to all of it. Not even the older Grand Theft Auto titles had police officers that were coded this poorly. They can also be escaped in moments. During one side quest, the story called for me to flee the cops as they swarmed in from multiple directions, and not even 7 seconds later, as I was a mere 10 feet away from them, they forgot about me and moved on. What should have been a high-intensity police chase instead became driving Miss Daisy.
On the ground! Oh, shit! Last time I ran from the cops was back in...
Wait, we lost him?
2020. With Johnny, actually.
Wait, did we lose the police already? There's no stars. Wait, that was it?
Fucking pigs!
Wait. More than anything, I really wanted to be immersed within Night City, but there's a shocking lack of things to do. Arcades exist, but the machines can't be interacted with. There's only 4 races, and these are for a specific side quest. Outside of quests, there's really just something called NCPD scanner hustles, and they're almost all exactly the same. Just copy and paste it a bunch of times within each district. Go and loot a specific item and you're done. That's mostly it. Unless you want to count the few that have you go kill everyone at a location, but there's way less of those. Hurting things even more is that there's no instances of emergent gameplay. Nothing interesting happens throughout the city unless tied to a quest. Sure, you can sometimes find random enemies scattered about and I guess you can kill them, but that's truly it. Even the Far Cry titles offered up more enjoyable and emergent open world shenanigans, and it's not often I can say Ubisoft is doing something better. Not even the exploration is satisfying. Everywhere you go are locked doors, and for the facade of verticality that the city gives off, most of the time you'll be on the ground moving among an empty shell. I would have much preferred a smaller location that was densely packed with things to find and do. Think Prague from Deus Ex Mankind Divided. In that title, almost every building and room can be entered, and secrets existed in abundance. And that is the world I wanted. I wanted to get a sense of how people lived. I wanted to ransack their homes. I wanted to find secrets and secret passages, or even engage in skyscraper-wide battles where I'd climb each floor one by one, working my way to the boss at the top. Think Dread 3D. But this game lacks all of that. And hey, sure, this may be an instance of to each their own, as I'm sure many people will love the size and scope, but a condensed city that feels lived in and packed with things to see, find, and do would be infinitely more enjoyable to me than one that is much too large and technically empty. Although, if there's one thing the city design nails down, it's the overall aesthetic. When this game looks good, it looks damn good. From a garbage dump in the desert that is filled with junk to the neon-lit skyscape of the city itself, the game is gorgeous. One one scene involving a parade is stunning. I almost had to sit and just allow myself to be taken in by it. It just looks so good. And yeah, visual bugs can ruin it at times, but when it's running properly, it's a sight to behold. All the art assets blend together to tie the lore and the environment into one beautiful package. It feels like a grungy future city, and the way sex and drugs are plastered everywhere really suits it. This is a game where humanity has given into its vices to an excessive extreme. Speed is advertised on TV. Television series are all about banging. And speaking of sex, nudity and fetishes are used to sell every product under the sun. A trans woman with a throbbing penis under her leotard selling a drink is just as normal to see as naked women or men showing various other products, usually with some form of kink mixed in. Because here, people don't want to think, they want to escape. They want an endless stream of quick-hit vices, a life choice pushed by the heavily corporatized world that is all too ready to enable them. This is the grimy, degenerate cyberpunk city I wanted to get lost within, and it sucks that the immersion is only skin deep. If there's one nitpick about its visual aesthetic, it's that specific advertisements are copy-pasted far too often. There's a surprising lack of art assets when it comes to the billboards. You'll see the same ones all over the damn place, and eventually it got dull to see. I just wish there was more. To tie 2077 back to Deus Ex, pre-release, I was hoping for something along the lines of the series' recent entries. I wanted to tackle the world in a play-your-own style, but the game doesn't permit much of that. You won't pick up boxes or move other objects within the environment, either weaponizing them or using them to reach new points of exploration. And for a title that appears as if its gameplay is full of choice, it's actually quite rigid. You can hack, shoot, and stab to your heart's content, but try anything else and the game actively works against you. A perfect example of this is a minor quest in which I was tasked to take out a sniper on a bridge. I drove up to it, and at a certain threshold, I was automatically booted from my car. This disappointed me, as instead of taking out the baddie the same way I'd already up to this point taken out tons of enemies, I wanted to play around and do something different. In this case, run him over. This disappointment only swelled when, on the bridge, I saw another car, but on entering it, I was automatically kicked out once again. I simply don't understand why something as basic as running a person over was forbidden. You're given tools only for the game to tell you no, you must do things this way. Can we take out the cyber psycho with our massive dick? These are the questions gamers want to know. Up, I see you. Okay. Oh, he sees us. Nope. 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 Get fucked. Get fucked. Get fucked. Get fucked. Literally just get fucked. Once I accepted how little leeway I had, I resigned myself to what the game wanted, and I did have fun. Thanks to a fairly deep leveling system, there are quite a few paths that open up. You can be a stealthy hacker who has a contagion virus that'll kill many enemies at once, or you can be a brute who runs and guns while every so often making use of hacks. If neither of those suit, you create your own custom build because the options are there. Each skill tree is rife with upgrades. It's kinda daunting at first. To further elaborate on the leveling up system, there's 5 total trees with what appears to be a 6th one that is locked. I'm assuming this is for future expansions or DLC. Of those usable, there's body reflexes, technical ability, cool, and intelligence. When you level up, you get an attribute point, and this is used to level up one of the, well, attributes. However, with a hard level cap of 50, you won't be able to max everything, so it's recommended to focus your build to get the max benefits out of each tree you intend to use. For my build, I focused on crafting blunt weapons and revolvers. Each attribute also you can hear my squeaky chair, apologies. Each attribute also offers various characters and world bonuses, like, take for instance, technical ability, which increased my armor by 5% every time I leveled it up. It also allowed me to open certain doors within the city, which could quicken the pace of a few missions. Attributes are not the only aspect of leveling up though, because as you shoot guns, sneak, hack, or whatever else, you unlock perk points. And perk points are what you spend within each attribute tree. This is where the leveling can be hit or miss because some perks are great while others are a tad more useless, so spend wisely. If the attributes and perk points don't already seem like enough, there's also street cred, and this raises as you complete missions and such. And the higher your cred, the better the items you can buy within the game, including but not limited to body enhancements. It's these enhancements called cyberware upgrades that add more enjoyment to the game's movement and combat systems. Think of them as body augmentations, and there's quite a bit of mixing and matching. Playing on hard difficulty where a strong attack can practically kill me instantly. I was especially fond of an upgrade called Second Heart. This allowed me to revive upon death during a fight. There's also something called Mantis Blades, and these are cool. Your arms split apart as deadly blades protrude from them, and hacking off enemy limbs and heads was a blast. If there's one disappointment, it's that the blades serve as nothing more than a flashy melee weapon. It would have been neat if they provided extra utilitarian purposes. Let me climb walls for a better advantage point, or stick myself to a ceiling, or something. You just chilling? Oh, he is. He has no idea. Oh, God. Oh, he's doing kinky stuff. Oh, he is. He's getting his dick sucked. Let's help him get off. Oh, yep, there he's spanking. Oh, yep. Oh, he is getting it on.
It hurts.
That's what we call the Gnarlit Special. Where combat most shines is its gunplay. Weapons feel fantastic to shoot. I had an overpowered revolver and exploding heads never got old. Initially, I was surprised by how much of a numbers game it is, and the first few hours on hard was a hassle as everyone was super bullet spongy, sometimes taking 15 shotgun blasts to the head to die. But once I dove into the upgrading crafting system or found better weapons on the ground, I reached a point where even the game's most difficult foes could be toppled in seconds. Funnily enough, the best weapon turned out to be a gigantic dildo. I got the sucker up to over 2,000 damage per second, and I ran around bopping everyone on the head. Call me immature, but beating people with a massive dick never got old. This became all the more hilarious when I obtained the ability to double jump, so I'd hop all around the map, charging up my heavy attack in the air, only to land on an enemy and smack them, instantly taking them out. Big dick energy for the win. Where combat most lacks are the enemies themselves. For all the upgrades that canonically exist within the world of Cyberpunk, the bad guys are relatively tame. As I was double jumping around thwacking people with my dildo, many just stood there. Why don't they too jump for a better position? Why do none of them seemingly have mantis blades or gorilla arms or any of the other cool upgrades? Even an actual penis in this world could theoretically serve as a weapon, so why are they all so boring? Sure, some can hack you and cause you to overheat, but it's nothing too special. The rest mostly just shoot or melee you. It's baffling how dull they are. Somewhat filling the previously mentioned void are cyber psychos, and these enemies are varied and cool, but there's only 17 of them in total, all tied to a specific side quest, and hurting their presentation is that quite a few of them broke. I'd engage in combat and they just stand there, not reacting to me as I strip them of health. This lack of a reaction extended to a few other minor bosses and other missions as well. What should be epic fights turned to me beating an unresponsive foe. It's simply just broken. Another thing to add to the pile of aspects of this game that don't work. Really? Not even gonna attempt to attack me? Headshot, bitch. You just chillin'? You just done? You giving up? You done? Okay. It has to be stressed just how much of this title feels half-baked, as if huge chunks of it were just quickly experimented with pre-release and then thrown into the game and jammed together right before it launched. Like, you'll do a ton of driving, but it never feels right. It's as if your car somehow weighs multiple tons but is also light as a feather, made worse by roads that feel coated in butter. I know that's a weird way to express the driving mechanics, but it sums it up perfectly. Just trust me on this. There's also a crafting system, but it lacks basic functionality. There's zero ease of life implementation. For example, you can make better crafting components, and some craftable or upgradable items need a good number of them, but you can only make one at a time, so you sit there in a menu for ages repeatedly holding the button to craft something over and over and over. Made worse is sometimes it just randomly fails. On the topic of the menu, it's a pain to navigate. Throughout the game, you'll get endless text messages, many of which you need to reply to, and it's a huge hassle to get to each individual message. It's clunky and dated as fuck, further adding to how half-baked the game comes across. across as. You can customize your genitals in the character creator, be a chick with a massive dick for all you want, which hey, that is awesome, and there's a ton of clothing options to boot. But being a first-person shooter, you don't see your character all too often, yet for the things you can see, like cars or guns or your own apartment, nothing can be done with them. It's a real missed opportunity. You drive all the time, and the car is a physical entity that is seen, so why does my dick have customizable pubic hair when the color of my vehicle can't be touched? It's weird, and that's what this game is. It's weird. It is a tale of two halves. On one hand, it is a phenomenally well-crafted story in a gorgeously realized world with combat that, while not deep, is still fun. But on the other are gameplay choices that don't add up to much and features that seem like they're missing. Throw in the many bugs and crashes, and the reality is that the game isn't done. I have zero doubts that car customization options will be added in later, as will more combat techniques. I fully believe the world will be further fleshed out with more to do, and the bugs will eventually be squashed. Likewise, the police will likely be altered, as will the overall NPC AI. But I can't review a game on what it might be later on. I have to review it on what it is now. And in its current state, it is an immensely fun experience, but one that at every turn left me disappointed at what it could have been. Many people will pick up Cyberpunk 2077 and have fun. Admittedly, I had a lot of fun. Even factoring in all my many complaints, it's one of the most enjoyable experiences of the year. But a game can only give you a first impression once. And I recommend people wait until this title has been updated and completely revamped. In 6 to 12 months, it will be a completely different experience. And I think people owe it to themselves to play it once it finds its true potential. For if it can unlock that, then this could share a tier with The Witcher 3, but it's going to take a lot of work for CDPR to get it there. So here's hoping they have it in them because it deserves more. I give it a 7 out of 10. Bitch, you just got dick fucked, you stupid! You stupid! You're getting beat with a dick! Fuck you! Oh shit. Uh-oh. Ooh, ow, ow, we just got... This is the ma'am, she's taken out all her GameStop fury.
What's going on?
Trying to scramble you. Keep focused. I handle it. But I cannot hold him long. He's safe somewhere with alpha animal. Deal with him.
We almost have you beat with the dick, you stupid! You stupid! You just got beat to death with a dick! Fuck you! No one beats a chick with a dick. Not even the ma'am. This is for GameStop. GameStop sends her regards.